Do you want to replace yelling with clear, confident, calm communication? We're going to talk about parenting without yelling today. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about parenting without yelling. In this video, we're going to talk about a true story about yelling from my life, and then we're going to talk about skills that you can use so that you can lead your family without raising your voice. I was raised with the statement, you never raise your voice in the family unless there is fire. And then my parents raised their voice. So they were a little bit hypocritical, probably because there are certain circumstances where you just feel so overwhelmed, you don't know how to handle it because you don't have the skills that you need. And then suddenly you find yourself raising your voice because your emotions bubbled up to the surface, and there they were for everyone to see. Now, one thing is, if you're going to be emotional, please stop yourself from talking. If you're getting emotional, say, wait, this is a moment where I stop. I'm not going to dump all this emotional vomit on everybody else to make everyone sick, because that's what happens when people throw up on other people, is everyone gets sick. So instead of doing that, I'm going to tell myself, I think I'm being emotional right now. I'm going to tell myself to stop, and I'm going to have a calm plan for how to pull myself back together. This is huge. There was a time when I was a young mom, when my son, he's my oldest, he was about 3 years old, and I remember he was talking back. I was tired. I had a baby at the time. I was working hard to try to be the best mom that I could be, but he was pushing every button that he could push, and I was tired. And I started yelling at him. I even ended up spanking him, and I remember that look that he gave me afterward, which was just betrayal. Like, who are you? Are you my mom? What happened? How can I trust you? And I realized I had become exactly what I didn't want to be, what I told myself I would not be. I wanted the skills necessary to not be that yelling mother, the one that was like my mom, who was emotional all the time, you know, because she didn't know what to do, apparently. And it was at that moment I recognized, yeah, my mom didn't know what to do, so that's why she was yelling. But I didn't want to be that. Luckily, at the time, I was doing a lot of training to become a therapeutic treatment care foster parent for troubled teens, and we started learning a whole bunch of skills. And during this time, the skills resonated with me with some skills that I learned when I was young that helped me fix my relationship with my parents at a time at age 14 when I was starting to have a lot of attitude and maybe not care as much about all of their yelling and everything else. But I realized these skills would help me now again with my children. I started teaching my children the skills of self-government because I was preparing to teach those skills to troubled youth who would come to my home, which was a treatment facility. But what I didn't really bargain on at the time was how much self-government was going to be required from me. I needed to be self-governed. I needed to change the way I processed. I couldn't be emotional anymore. If I was going to be the example for these troubled youth, I had to really walk the walk and talk the talk. So I worked hard on not emotionally reacting to circumstances, but instead describing what's going on, checking myself for calmness. When I found that I was calm, then choosing to engage and working on a pre-scripted correction script and skills that I taught them ahead of time. So what was the biggest thing for parenting without yelling? Planning. That was the biggest. You got to be planned. You got to know what you're doing. I mean, I know the children don't come with manuals, and just because you're an adult and a parent doesn't mean that you have it all figured out or that you've even recovered fully from your own childhood. And so it takes a little bit of time. I mean, really, parenting is a maturing process. But luckily, I really got deliberate. I started maturing myself really quickly, setting goals for myself, creating skills for myself, following through. Knew I was going to need them. I was having a hard time with my 3-year-old, and now it's going to be taking in troubled youth who were neurodiverse, had a lot of trauma, all kinds of things. I needed to be ready. I even got little recipe cards and I wrote down everything that I would say on them. And sometimes I even read those exact words off of the card to my foster children. I thought they would look at me like, are you kidding me? This is the best the state has to offer. They brought me to this home to a lady who reads off of a card. I mean, I really thought that that's probably what would happen, but it wasn't that. It validated me. It showed them, hey, you're learning a skill. I'm teaching you. Here's your cards. Here's my cards. We're going to learn these skills. So what are those skills? Those skills of self-government, they changed everything for me. I learned how to pre-teach. I learned how to do effective praising, corrections, intensive teaching, parent counseling sessions. I learned to work through self-regulation. I learned how to get myself calm. I taught them the skills that they needed for self-government, like the 4 basic skills, how to disagree appropriately. I taught them how their brains worked. I helped them have freedom. And I had freedom from emotional bondage. Finally, at last. Was it immediate? No. It's going to take some time. If you're a yeller, that's a habit you're going to have to overcome. And the way that you overcome a habit is by replacing it with something else. So my suggestion to you is that you replace it with a skill set. The first skill you need is the skill for how to be calm. After that, you need a skill for how to do a correction, a really effective correction. You're going to find all of those things at teachingselfgovernment.com. There is a free Calm Parenting Toolkit on my website right now at teachingselfgovernment.com that you can find that. That will help you toward that calmness a little bit, but you're going to need all of those parenting skills too that are in the TSG parenting course. So start with that Calm Parenting Toolkit. It's free right now, which is great. Move on to the TSG parenting course. Get yourself prepared. You shouldn't have to look in the mirror and say, how'd I turn out this way? How come my children give me these looks like they don't trust me? How come I'm not sure if I can trust myself? You need to know what to do. And you know what? Sometimes we just don't know what we don't know because the skills aren't being passed on. Our society is so emotional that we're not getting the help that we need. So go to teachingselfgovernment.com, get the Calm Parenting Toolkit and the TSG Parenting course today. I'll see you there.